Hello, welcome my viewers. In this session or presentation, I have decided to discuss onion seedlings propagation. There is a lot of discussion going around, and I've decided to just clarify and somehow try and eliminate some of the confusion, because most farmers don't seem to understand what really happens. First of all, onion seedlings propagation is just the process of coming up with seedlings, that is from the onion seeds. Onion, as we are all aware, is a crop which you can only plant it using seedlings. You cannot do direct seeding. And we have two methods which farmers are aware. We are initially we were used to the traditional nurseries. The traditional nurseries, these are the nurseries which we establish in our farms, just using the normal soil. There is no controlled conditions, and there are no technologies mostly. Then we have a professional propagation. These are professional propagators. Most of them, they don't really use the normal soil or the traditional soil. They use soilless medium. Soilless medium, we have several. We have pit moss, we have cockpit. Those are just but examples. Something else they also do, they also, where they do their seedlings propagation, the environment is well controlled, and you realize most of the growth conditions are optimized. So it's upon farmers to decide which method to use. So let's compare the two methods, because I want to help farmers to make informed decisions. Propagators way or the traditional nurseries way. One thing, when you are doing your propagation or when you are coming up with your seedlings, one thing you need to think about is the germination. And basically, it's about the germination percentage. You buy your seedlings, let's say 1 kg, which is equivalent to 250,000 seeds. How many of these seeds you are going to transform them into seedlings? So this happens after germination, and there are so many factors that affect germination. So the farmer who takes their seeds to the propagators, this is what they are likely to get: 90%, some 80%, some even higher than 90%. So from the 250,000 seeds, you're likely to come up with 225,000 seedlings. For the farmer who decides to just establish their nursery in their farm, this is what is happening. From the 250,000 seeds which you bought, I said the 250,000 seeds is equivalent to 1 kg. The match you can achieve is 50%. Unfortunately, most farmers don't even achieve the 50%. Most of them is 50% and below. So you are likely to lose 50% of the seeds. So you'll end up with 125,000 seedlings. Number two, healthy and vigor. How healthy and how vigorous are the seedlings you are going to come up with? Remember, how healthy and how vigorous the seedlings are affect the what we call the survival rate. That is after the transplanting. You have come up, yes, you have come up with the seedlings, then you go to transplanting. There's something we call survival rates, because there are still chances of losing those seedlings. So for the propagators way, what I have observed with the many farmers, the survival rate is better, is very high. For the traditional nurseries, the seedlings you come up with, most of them will be unhealthy, some of them are weak, some of them look very sickly because of we talked about how the environment and the conditions are controlled inside the propagation units. Most of them are greenhouses. So when you end up with the such seedlings, again, it really affects the survival rate. I have indicated this, it has reduced survival rate. So again, what does that mean? You still lose more. You ended up, let's say you ended up with 125,000 seedlings. When you do the transplanting, again, you lose, let's say you lose around the 25,000 again. Now you are around 100,000. Number 3, there's something else we also call uniformity. Because in the propagation units, that is the greenhouses, the conditions there, we say they are controlled. And what I mean the conditions here, I mean, for example, the temperatures, when it comes to irrigation, they even control even the humidity. Because of that, the seedlings have chances of being uniform from when you look at because they do it in trays, you realize all the seedlings in terms of the sizes and the leaves and how they look, they are somehow uniform. But for the nurseries for the seedlings from the traditional nurseries, they lack that uniformity. Uniformity is very important because when you plant the seedlings, remember, for onions we are looking for bulbs. So if you are going to plant seedlings which are not uniform, some of them big, some of them are small, some of them healthy, some of them looking very unhealthy, chances are you again when it comes to uniformity in during the bulbing of the bulb formation, it's something that you are not likely to achieve. You still have that variation in terms of bulb sizes and all that. Then finally, I decided to now discuss or touch on the most sensitive part as my last point, the cost. Well, I have indicated the propagator's way is expensive, but in quotes, and it is expensive, but it guarantees, or expensive but with value for money, because of the other all these other points I have discussed. Let me try and clarify what exactly happens at the propagation, or when you take your seeds to propagation. First of all, I have to make it very clear that it only makes sense if you buy your seeds and then you take them yourself to the propagators, and then they charge you, or you pay for the propagation services. It doesn't make any sense when you are buying already propagated seedlings from the propagator, because of two things. One, buying already propagated seedlings is very expensive, because when somebody sells a seedling, an onion seedling, at 1 shilling, that is very expensive. Number two, as a farmer, as a farmer, when you go through the process of deciding which seed you want to plant and all that, you'll have at least you'll have some peace of mind. But when you decide to go and buy already propagated seedlings, chances are you might even be forced just to buy the available ones. And from the previous discussions you can watch, I have discussed how to decide, or how to settle on which seed varieties to use, because it depends with the agroecological zones. So if you really want to get it right from the word go, just buy your seeds, settle for the right variety, and then take the seeds to the propagators and then pay for the propagation services. So how what exactly happens, or how do they come up with how much you are supposed to pay? I'll use, for example, 1 kilogram of seeds, which is equivalent to 250,000 seeds. So 250,000 seeds, this is what you have bought. When you take them to the propagators, they will charge you going by the germination percentage. This germination percentage is not the germination percentage indicated on the packaging material or on that paper. This germination percentage will be decided, that is after they have planted your seeds and they have now come up with the seedlings. For example, let's say after they have planted your seeds, you end up with they realize that they only achieved 80% of the germination. These are 80% of 250,000 seeds will give us 200,000 seedlings. So, what exactly happens, or how do they go about now in terms of the the costing when they are doing the planting, or when now they are sowing the seeds? They normally use trays, and I have one here. This is just an example of a tray. This is a planting or a seedlings propagation tray. As you can see, this one has how many? We call them cavities or plugs. This is where they place the seeds. This is where we sow the seeds. So these trays are in different sizes. We have some with 360 cavities, some with 400, some 442, 160 cavities, and basically what happens per cavity, they will place, the common practice used to be between 7 to 10 seeds. That is per cavity. And when you take your seeds to a propagation where they give you the chance to decide how many seedlings or how many seeds should be placed per cavity, I would not recommend you go for 10 or 9. Just settle at either 7 or 8 seeds, because again, the same factors that also affect the seedlings quality in when you do the traditional nurseries like overcrowding and population, we also have them, because it's still a crop regardless. So for our case, let's use 7. So what they will do, they will divide your 200,000 seeds by 7. They will place 7 seeds on each cavity. This is likely to give you 28,571. These are cavities now, because they charge you per cavity or per plug. Cavities, yes, 28,571. Most of them will just make it 28,500 cavities. So initially it used to be between 1.5 shillings, but nowadays I realize most of them are going up to 1.8 per cavity. People are also in business because they are doing a lot. They have invested a lot in those propagation units, and they will give you, they guarantee, just to guarantee you quality seedlings. So they have most of them, I believe they are around 1.8. I've not seen those ones doing 2 shillings. But previously, we have worked with propagators who charge 1.5 per cavity. So I'll just use 1.5. So 28,571 times 1.5. This one is likely to give you 42,857. So this is the amount I'm going to pay for propagation. This is just indicative. I've mentioned that the actual cost or the amount you are likely to pay, it is decided after the germination, or when at the point when you are collecting the seedlings. So what normally happens is you just hand over your seeds to the guys at the propagation. You deposit some deposit. Then when you are collecting your seedlings, that's when now they give you now your full or the actual bill. So this figure might go higher or even might go lower than the 42,000. And if you look at this, this is almost it's almost actually it's expensive, but it's more expensive than the cost of some of the onion seeds per kg, the cost of a kg of onion seeds. That is for some of the hybrids, or equivalent to some of them. So propagation is actually, those who say it's expensive, but value for money. The traditional nurseries way, it will look cheaper and affordable, but basically what is happening, you are just losing. You're really losing money, and you are losing your seeds. And just to explain, we talked about the germination percentage using the traditional nursery establishment. You lose some seeds in terms of the germination percentage, let's say 50%. We also have something else we call survival rate. Again, you lose a percentage, let's say 20%. We also mentioned something about uniformity. Again, you end up with a very ununiform bulbs. What does this take you? It takes you to poor quality and even quantity yield. And we cannot, this for commercial farmers, you are not likely to make profits, or even if you make profits, I will not guarantee that it will give better margins